Hey everyone, Elisa here coming at you with some real-life product management advice. And in this video, I'm going to give you 5 questions that you should be asking in every single customer interview. For those of you who are new here, hello and welcome to my channel. I'm so happy you're here. My name is Elisa and I am a principal product manager in the tech world. And in this channel, I provide general career advice and insight to the tech and product management world. So if any of that is interesting to you, please subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications. This is helpful for you because you know when there's new content, and it's amazing for me as a content creator and makes my day to get a new subscriber. So press that red subscribe button, and while you're at it, you can press the thumbs up too. I'm totally fine with you doing that. So let's talk about all things customer interviews. If you're in product management or you're an aspiring or an actual tech founder, you are probably very familiar with customer interviews. Generally speaking, customer interviews are high-level conversations that you have with your customers to try and figure out your customer pain points and figure out what types of features or products would really be valuable for them. If done well, customer interviews can be a game changer. Game changer. If you're able to really understand market problems and build a feature that actually solves that problem, you are going to have a very successful product. But here's the thing. Conducting customer interviews effectively is extremely challenging. You have to be able to really understand people's problems and not influence their responses at all with your own biases. Customer interviews are also great because they can help you figure out if your idea for a feature or a product is actually not that great. And that sounds like a bad thing, but it's actually amazing if you can figure out that your idea is actually not that great before you put in a lot of time or money into building that idea. So, I have conducted my fair share of customer interviews, and I've found these 5 questions that I'll use in almost every single customer interview. And these questions really help me get to core customer problems and really figure out whether or not customers are experiencing challenges and figure out if my idea is something that would actually be valuable to them. First, what does your current process look like? Second, do you experience any challenges with this process? Third, why do you bother doing this process? Fourth, what have you done to try to improve the process, and did that improvement work? And last but not least, is there anything I'm missing? Now, these may seem a little vague and confusing, and you might be asking yourself, what process is she talking about? So I'm going to talk through a hypothetical situation that will make these questions a lot easier to understand. Now, I'm going to pretend that I am on the product team at Netflix, and I've started to see that a lot of customers are talking about how they're encountering decision paralysis when trying to find a show to watch, especially when they're trying to find a show to watch with a significant other. And this decision paralysis is frustrating and often leads them to watch just the same generic shows that they've been watching. Now, I have an idea that could possibly solve this problem, but first I want to figure out with customers whether or not there actually is a problem that needs to get solved. So the first thing I would do is set up about 10 customer interviews, and I would make those all 30-minute interviews. And if I don't get clarity from those 10 customers, I would set up 10 additional calls until I start to see patterns and themes with what customers are saying. So the first thing I would do in the actual interview is I would ask people what their process is for finding a TV show or a movie on Netflix. This is arguably the most important part of the interview because you're hearing what the experience is actually like for customers. The customers also aren't biased at this point because they haven't heard what problem I'm trying to solve. They don't know what my idea is for a solution. They're just telling me what their process is. Next, if they didn't describe any challenges or frustrations in their process of finding a TV show, I would dig in and ask if there are any frustrations that they experience when trying to find something to watch. This part is very interesting because it can start to show you the emotions that your customers experience when they're using your product. You can see what really ticks them off. Or maybe you'll actually find that they aren't frustrated at all in the current process. Maybe there isn't actually a problem. The next thing I'll do is I'll ask why they even bother spending time looking for a show or movie in Netflix. This helps me see what value they see in the current process. Maybe they like seeing the new shows that have been added to Netflix, or maybe they like seeing all the trailers of different shows, or maybe they like looking at different titles and figuring out what the Rotten Tomatoes score is for each of those titles. It's really important to know what parts of the process are working well. Those are things that you don't want to mess with. Next thing I'll do is I'll ask the customers if there's anything that they have done to improve the process of finding a show or movie on Netflix. Maybe they make a point of researching shows ahead of time, or maybe they give themselves a 5-minute cap for finding a TV show, or maybe they haven't done anything to try to improve the process, which could tell you that it might not be a big enough problem for them to actually search for solutions. The last thing I will do in every customer conversation is I will ask the customer if there's anything I should have asked, and I'll also ask them to see if there's additional people I can speak to. This is helpful because it gives any last bits of information that the customer wanted to tell me, and it also helps me grow the list of customers that I can speak to. Now, these are just 5 questions. In customer interviews, you'll want to ask a lot of different probing questions, you'll want to do follow-up questions, and you may want to go even deeper into your specific problem. But for the most part, these 5 questions can help you get to your customer problems and start to figure out if your idea would actually be valuable to your customers. So those are the 5 questions that I will ask in nearly every single customer interview. It's a great way to figure out what your customers are experiencing currently, and it helps you identify customer problems and how much value your idea could actually bring to customers. One last thing, the problem that I used, the decision paralysis challenge with streaming technologies, is a real problem that customers experience. So if you want to try out these questions with that problem statement, you can try it out with your friends and family just to improve upon your customer interview chops. So thank you so much for listening. I hope these 5 interview questions are helpful for you as you start to validate your product idea. If you did like the video, please press that thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And if you want to hear more content from me, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks again, and I will talk to you next time. Bye, friends.